Okay. I have a couple things on my mind, so I'm gonna talk about a couple different things. Um, One of the things is that I'm setting a date with the vet to come to my house and put Winston to sleep. It's horrible. I had no idea what a horrible situation it is to have to get to this point, make this decision. It really messes with your head. Like, oh my gosh, totally messes with your head because you don't want him to suffer, but I don't want to be pulling the plug on him too soon. But he has no. He's just getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and he's so weak and it's horrible. It's just really horrible. I have so much more empathy and compassion now for people when they go through it because I didn't understand it before. And so another thing too is I even keep telling him is that, this isn't forever goodbye. This is just him leaving this decrepit old body that's been sick his whole life. I think from interbreeding or whatever. Because he's a golden retriever. And in the city that I got him in, I think there's only so many. I mean, those dogs all started, it had to be a small gene pool for the golden retrievers. Like every time we would go somewhere, I would think, oh, that's probably, every time I would see golden retriever, I'd think, oh, that's probably one of Winston's siblings, cousin, parent, something. But he's always had skin conditions, and he would get horrible infections, and he's always been so sickly, and he would always just eat and eat and eat. He was really big and obese, and it's just sad. They put all the medicine that they had him on probably is what, like, I don't know that his life is that much shorter because his vet had said most golden retrievers are dying by the time they're 9, and he's 11. And so, and for how big he was and all of his physical ailments with his skin, there's been so many times I thought he was going to die. So, but anyways, no matter what, it's horrible to have to do this. And I keep telling him, you can always come back to us. You can come back in some other animal, some other being, or whatever. He's such a loving guy. Doesn't have much sense, but he's very loving. And I just feel horrible. Now it's like we're on the time clock of when it's going to happen. But I think one thing that we really just all have to remember is just because somebody dies, that's just them leaving the stage. They didn't cease to exist. They're still, their energy, their essence, they're still out there. It's just that character that they were playing while they were here. They got done with that character. That character finished whatever it was that they had planned to do as that, whatever they came in to learn, as the person that they were playing that you knew. When they reach a certain point in their journey and they've done all the stuff they've accomplished, people don't just stay endlessly so that other people never have to feel bad. Some people have those interactions to go through that trauma because you learn compassion, you learn how to accept other people and what they go through. And so, we've got to just start seeing so much more about the problems and the tragedies and stuff that we go through aren't to hurt us. They're to help us grow and to become better people, more better of what we want for ourselves. The being inside that wants to see everybody have a happy ending, that doesn't want to see sadness and tragedy, that gets, real tore up when they know something bad is happening to someone else. So, those beings, especially when they're outside of this false created reality that has formed who we thought we were, once you go through this, leaving the matrix and realizing what a construct you've been living in, and that you don't even know yourself. You aren't your authentic self. How could you be? Everything was fake. So once you start having to rebuild yourself and become who you really are, your true authentic self, who you really are meant to be, then you start seeing the magical part, all that stuff that's withheld from us, because they don't want us to be who we are. We're strong spiritual beings that have power, and if somebody is oppressing you, they want you to think poorly of yourself, to think that you are worthless. Nobody wants you around. You're a piece of garbage. We were all being abused on such a giant level. It's crazy. But it's going to be really affecting a lot of people right now. I mean, it's coming up real quick. This is about to just be like, you're waiting for the curtain to open for the big show, and it opens with the most gruesome scene imaginable. And you're seeing just treachery. And then all of a sudden you realize you are the one in the movie. You aren't the audience. You are the one it's being done to. It's like, whoo, you all of a sudden have to come back to reality. And then what is reality? It's all a manufactured construct. It really was the Matrix. Then you have to just re-examine everything of who you are. What makes you tick? What drives you? Because everybody's been driven by things that weren't necessarily in them. It was manipulated information of control. And then once we start seeing our connection to all things and the real beings that we are, these spiritual entities that are here to play and have fun and have experience and create. Once we start seeing that, and everybody's starting to realize, like, I'm psychic, like I have guides, there's people talking to me, there's a deeper meaning to things, all this stuff, all this connection that people are getting to spirit. That is the transformation. That's what's going to take us into this new world, the new world that we're going to create as aware, conscious beings creating. It's going to be so different. And it's super exciting, but it is going to be, some pain for some people. Because I was chipping away little by little. Like I was telling my son-in-law yesterday, it was like I was picking the wallpaper, and then I kept picking it until all of a sudden there was a giant picture behind it. And all the little pieces I picked off gave me a little part of the story. So I was going through this for a long time. And so my awareness was going little by little. These people who are just so locked into the narrative right now, this is going to be such a rude awakening to so many things on so many levels. And I was just like, yesterday I kept thinking, what soul would choose to have it be their wake up? Like, it's going to be so intense. I can see why, they keep saying there's going to be mass suicide and stuff. It's going to be intense, because it's going to be like the biggest mirror held up in front of you, and it's not on a good day. And we're all hard on ourselves anyways. We're our worst enemy. And in all this process, you learn to be your own best friend. You learn to love yourself. Even if everybody can hate you, you can still love yourself, because you're true and authentic to yourself. And you can realize they're just not seeing it because of their own vision of life, their own things that are holding them back. And being our true authentic self and being proud of ourselves is what helps others grow into their true authentic self. So it's just so important to always be real. Don't try and pretend to be something you're not. Don't try and pretend to be something so somebody else stay with you. And don't expect people to be something they're not to be with you. Look for people who you align with. Look for people who you have something in common with. And that's where you're going to find your tribe. That's where you're going to find acceptance. That's where you're going to find conversations that make sense to you. So, anyways, that is kind of what I was thinking about that. There's probably some more things. I always feel like I just say like these chopped up sentences, like they're never complete. I don't know. I don't go back and watch or something, because yeah, I would erase them all. I would edit them. I would go in, change my clothes, try and do my makeup. Already I put in on lip gloss. But if you don't put some kind of makeup on, then you can't see any of your features on the thing. It just looks like, so you got to kind of give your face some kind of outline, I guess. But anyways, I was thinking how important it is about storytelling, and how that's kind of a lost art. I've talked about the lost arts and how they're all going away before, but storytelling is definitely, when I was younger, I used to love to listen to old people talk. When I very first got out of high school, my dad told me, you have to go to school or get a job. And he started making me work when I was 10. I had to get a paper route, and it was hard work back in those days in the 70s. It was real hard work. And it was on your bike. It was just like in the movies. And you had to go around and collect from people. And people were mean. They took advantage of kids. You'd have to, oh man, that was a hard job. But my dad, so when I got out of high school, he said, you get a job or go back to school. And I really wanted to be a psychologist. But when I went down to the school to talk to him and how much more school they said it was going to be, I was like, hell no, cannot do it. So I was just like, I didn't know what to do. And my, it was a friend, I guess I had, but I didn't even seem like I really knew her that well until this experience. So I don't know how I knew her or anything, because I don't remember the before part, but she was going to go to hair school. And this girl really stood out. She had hair down to her butt. It was really pretty and it was wavy. And she was going to go to hair school. So she said, why don't you come to hair school? And we lived close. So I think it was 4 miles each way. So we would walk down, and we would walk the 4 miles each morning to school. And then in the afternoon, we'd walk home. So, and then we started talking about ways of eating, and I took about the not eating meat real serious, and all that walking. I felt like I was in the best shape I'd ever been. It was a good time. Like, it was a good experience. But so when I became a hairdresser, the ones that come to the hair school to get their hair done are all these little old ladies. And, they're on a tight budget. They're paying like $4 for their, I can't remember what they call them, some kind of set and curl thing. And especially in the 70s, they all came in with the same hairdo. They'd have to get their perm every, 6 weeks or something. Then they'd have to get all this color and this purple, because none of them could have gray hair. They had to cover it and go back and have brown hair. It's just kind of funny when you think about it, like all this wrinkled skin, but you got brown hair. And like sometimes you even see actors and it's like, this doesn't match. Just be your natural self. But they've always got to be marketed. But so these little old ladies would come, and they were just so sweet. I really liked them. But one of them I met, she was the Wright brothers' cousin. She used to go and watch them, the Wright brothers, when they were trying to develop. So I was always just fascinated. Some of the stories I would hear, like you were talking to people who were alive in the late 1800s. And so they gave you such different view of things. It was just fascinating. And, that's one thing I think that has been manipulated, but the storytelling I think is important for us all. But I think they've wanted to keep us away from history and knowledge and what other people have seen and stuff. I think it's all manipulated. But I think we're going to go back to, I think we're going to go away from this other types of entertainment that we have been manipulated by. I think we're going to go to a different kind of socializing and entertainment and stuff. I just see it. I see it in my head so clearly. But anyway, so I wanted to tell a story.